Lab equipment. Here are some key terms that you will need in order to learn about lab equipment. Make sure that you copy these down into your journal. These are different tools that we use throughout the lab and when we do lab studies. We use a balance, which is a tool used to measure mass, and it's always measured in grams. Now there are a couple balances that we use. We use a double pan balance, which has the two pans on each side, and you can compare objects on a double pan balance. We also use what is called a triple beam balance. This is one with 3 bars, and then you put your object on the pan. It's called triple beam because of the 3 beams on it. We also have a thermometer. A thermometer is a tool used to measure temperature. We measure temperature in Celsius. This is what a thermometer would look like. We also use a graduated cylinder, which is a tool used to measure the volume of a substance. A graduated cylinder measures in millimeters. And this is what a graduated cylinder would look like. Then we have a meter stick. A meter stick is a tool used to measure the length or distance. We measure in meters. So you can have a meter stick or what's also called a metric ruler. Sometimes this could be a tape measure, sometimes a centimeter ruler as well. Other tools that we use are a spring scale. It's used to measure weight. Now be careful with this because a balance is used to measure mass, whereas a spring scale is used to measure weight. You see these a lot in your grocery stores when you go and buy produce such as apples or onions or tomatoes. We have a stopwatch, which is used to measure time in seconds. You see these used a lot when running track, when during races and things like that. We have a collecting net, which is a tool used to collect insects and other organisms. Sometimes this is commonly known as a butterfly net, but in science we call it a collecting net. We also have a compass, which is used to tell direction, north and south. Then we also have a hot plate. A hot plate is used to heat up substances, whether it's boiling water or heating up and melting maybe chocolate or a different substance that we may need. We also have hand lenses. Hand lenses are very similar to magnifying glasses. It's a tool used to make an object appear larger. It's also known as a magnifier. You use it to look closely at insects such as butterflies or a fly's wings, things that you can see but you just need to see a little bit closer. We also have a microscope, which is similar to a hand lens, but it's more powerful. A microscope is a tool used to see objects that are too small to be seen with your eyes alone. You would use a microscope to look at pollen from a flower or strands of hair if you want to look at hair under a microscope. We also have an eyedropper, which is a tool used to pick up very small amounts of liquid. Sometimes these are used with doctors' offices for babies to give small amounts of medicine, to pick up small samples of liquids in order to move from one test tube to another. And then we have test tubes, which are used to hold small samples for testing. Here are some test tubes on a test tube rack.